Hi guys, I'm Anita and I'm back with another video. Today I want to share with you a recent reads type of wrap-up thing where I'm talking about the books that I've been reading for the last few weeks. I haven't checked in a while with any wrap-ups, so I have 7 books to talk about today. So before everything went out of hand, I decided to film a video today. I'm filming this in the morning before I start work, so apologies if the lighting is a little bit weird. The first thing I want to talk about is Platform 7 by Louise Doughty, I think, which I read for the Literally Dead book club. This is the book club that Kayla from Books and Lala is hosting, and I have been participating because I thought it would be a fun way of joining the community and getting myself to read more thrillers. I do enjoy a thriller every now and then, but I definitely don't read them as much as I probably want to. This one I really enjoyed the writing style, but I hated how the book was handled by the end. I think that there was a lot of... The thing is, Platform 7 is about... You see this from the perspective of a ghost, and this ghost has died at this Platform 7 like 18 months prior to this, when this starts, by committing suicide, jumping in front of one of the cargo trains that go through the station. And the same thing is happening to this man on this day, and she is trying to convince him not to do it, but because she's a ghost, he can't. When the son of the victim comes to, like, not see the body, but to I guess witness the body, she becomes so obsessed with him, trying to figure out who he is and sort of that. But I like the fact that she wanted to get some sort of closure and get this resolved. What happens is that we then look into what happened before she committed suicide, because there's a thing that the book wants us to believe, that it was an accident, that something bigger was the reason for both of them committing suicide on this platform. And our main character is showing us her life prior to what happened, and it just focuses way too much on that part. I think it took over half of the book was spent telling her life with her very abusive ex-boyfriend, instead of actually putting some focus on the situation she was in and trying to solve whatever it was. And by the end of it, there wasn't really any resolution to any of it. So it really disappointed me in that. And the only thing that holds this up and not giving it 1 star is that I really enjoyed the writing. I thought the writing was pretty good, and it had some quality to it that I enjoyed. But overall, it just didn't do anything for me. So I give it 2 out of 5 stars. The next thing that I finished was Athena by Stephen King, or Richard Bachman. This is, yeah, as I said, one of the Richard Bachman novels that is Stephen King's pen name. And this is a book where it follows this lawyer who, upon accident, hits someone with their car. They die. And because he knows people high up in the ranks, he is sort of not convicted for anything. He is able to go free with no consequences. And the thing is that the person who passed away, who was hit by the car, also knows someone on a different rank, sort of a shaman type of person, who ends up cursing our main character with a curse that makes him lose an insane amount of weight no matter what he do, even no matter how much he eats. He just drops insane amount of weight every day, and he ends up being admitted to this place where he to get help, but nothing really works. And it's really, really interesting. I think since of the Bachman novels, I have had a hard time really loving any of them. The only exception being The Long Walk. But this one definitely upped itself compared to some of the other Bachman novels. But I find it so strange that Stephen King and Bachman is the same author, because it's so written so differently, and he's not as good a storyteller when he writes in the Bachman name than he is when he writes in his own Stephen King pen name. So I find that a bit weird. But overall, I enjoyed this one and I gave it 3.5 stars. The next one I read was To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers. And for me, this is difficult to talk about because I expected to really, really love this, and I didn't. And I have a hard time saying why I didn't, because I think the reason that I didn't like it is that I didn't get what was going on at all. I was not into the story, no matter how, I mean, I read all the words and none of them stuck. So I even have a hard time telling you what this story is about. And because I was so not into the book at all, I don't know if it was because I read it at a time when I was not feeling good at all mentally. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I definitely can't tell you what this is about, except that I think it's something to do with them traveling on a spaceship, a group of people, and I think they take shapes of different things over the course of the story. And it has a bigger meaning, but that's all I can tell, and I'm not sure that's saying a lot. So because I couldn't get into it at all, because it didn't grab me whatsoever, I give it a 2 out of 5, because maybe I should even give it a 1, but I give it a 2 out of 5 because I don't think it's fair for me to give a story 1 when I can't even tell you why. So sorry about it, and if you liked it, good for you. Maybe at a different time I will be able to enjoy it more, but I don't know. Sorry. The next thing I picked up was because I was really in a funk and I was feeling slumpy, and I picked up a book that I knew was going to make me happy at least, and it would make me feel a little bit more cozy and warm, and I knew that I would enjoy it. And so I picked up Murder on Lexington Avenue by Victoria Thompson, which is the 12th book in the Gaslight Mystery series. It has become one of my favorite series, definitely one of my favorite mystery series, because I have read like 12 books now and not one of them has been low, under 4 stars for me. I really continue to enjoy them. I knew that I probably wouldn't give it a 5 stars, but I just knew that it would definitely be something I would enjoy. This one, we are discovering a lot more about how it was to be a mute in the 1800s, late 1800s, New York. We have already been discussing it a little bit before, because Frank, who is the police detective in this series, his son is mute and goes to a school where he's being taught sign language and stuff. But how people are viewing it and how they are treating mute, the thing that they think that 2 mutes cannot reproduce or whatever. They can't get together and have babies because they think it's a genetic thing that makes them mute, which, I mean, yeah. So it definitely put a different perspective on the mute community in this one, but Frank having his own son is not on doesn't have the same beliefs at all as the other people have, but it was interesting seeing this perspective. I really enjoyed it. It was, what I like about it is how all of the different side characters slowly is being put more and more into focus in these books. Like we get more and more of Mavis into this, who I can't tell you who is because it will be spoilery. And yeah, there's just a lot of things, and I like the fact that in this one, with all of the books prior to this, Frank has been so adamant about keeping Sarah out of the investigations part, and in this one he actually wanted her to do some investigation on her own. So it was such a super big twist in his beliefs, and it was quite fun to see that he suddenly wanted her to be part of the investigation team, and she wasn't really she didn't really want to, so it's sort of a switch in their own things, and I enjoyed it. But I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. It was a lot of fun, and I was happy I picked it up because it was at the right time, and it was an easy book to get through because they're fairly short. They're only like 10 hours. And the next things that I picked up are books that I read for the 24 and 48. I will have a vlog up soon, I promise. I did film my readings experience, so I'll try and have a vlog up over the coming week. But the first thing that I finished that weekend was The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I had about 150 pages left, and it took me 4 hours to read that. I don't know, it is so slow moving, and it's so drawn out. It started out so well, so good. I really enjoyed the atmosphere, I really enjoyed the characters. I thought that I was connecting to this one so much more than The Night Circus. The Night Circus, I have a hard time remembering any of the characters at this point. But then every other chapter or so, they switched to some sort of fairy tale-like tale, and when that had happened for like half of the book, it just became annoying that it kept switching and taking me out of the story that I was following with Zachary, because I don't think they were super necessary. I think there were some of them that could have been used because they were part of the reason why things happened in this universe. It's basically about Zachary, who loves reading, and he's at the library one day and finds a book that has no author. It's called Sweet Sorrows, I think. And he checks it out of the library, brings it home and starts reading it, and super absorbed in the story and thought it was really fun and interesting. But then suddenly he's in it himself, and that is when the whole thing starts. And he becomes part of this secret underworld sort of thing that no one else knows about, and he is not supposed to know about it either. But yeah, so it basically takes him to the Starless Sea, which is yeah, a secret place, another place, and a parallel type of universe, I guess. So I ended up giving this 3.5 stars because there was overall, I enjoyed the writing, I enjoyed the overall story, but the romance just came out of nowhere. I think it's not that it didn't happen, like I think it started happening like a little over halfway through the book. I don't know, but it just came out of nowhere. And I think that if she had just developed it in a nicer way, I would definitely have been rooting for them, because I think they make sense that they were together. But I just think that it came out of nowhere, so it didn't feel like they were actually in love or anything. I didn't see that, so it also dragged it down a lot. And then all of the sort of smaller chapters, I did think that the diary entries towards the end were necessary, because it definitely let us know what happened with the characters that Zachary knew in the beginning and before he disappeared into this other world thing. I don't know when this stopped, but I think it was just now. The next thing that I finished was A Perfect Blot by Kim Harrison. This is the 10th book in the Hollow series or Rachel Morgan series, and I keep enjoying them. They're a lot of fun, lots of things are happening. I was really looking forward to seeing what will happen after the events that happened in the previous book, and it definitely expanded on that, and I was hooked. I can't tell you about the plot because of spoilers, but yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It's one of the longer books that were on my TBR this month, and I definitely enjoyed all of it. A lot of things always happens in these books, because you think you know where the plot is gonna go, but then no, you don't, and it takes different turns, and there are several smaller subplots in the story, and I really enjoy them, and so I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. It wasn't as good as the previous one, but I still really enjoyed it, so I'm happy I'm still reading it. The last and final thing that I finished this past week has been The Dragon Pearl by Yoon. This is a middle grade book following this girl called Min. Oh, well, yeah, she is a girl. She seems herself a girl. The thing is, she is a fox spirits, and fox spirits are choose themselves what sex they want to be. So they are essentially non-binary, and our main character has chosen to be a girl. The majority decides to be girls, but then there are a couple of other who decides to be male, and I thought that was really great, and I liked how she just wove that into the story. The story takes off when our main character Min discovers that her brother Yoon has disappeared, and he is told to be a deserter, and she doesn't really understand that because he is for sure a gentle person and a good person, and she goes in search for him and finding out the truth. And so she basically goes undercover as ends up going undercover as another person on this ship called the I forgot the name of this ship, and it definitely answers some things that he didn't know about, and he gets to know more about the world and the situation that we're in and stuff. And it was really interesting. I enjoyed all of this. I thought that it was immersive from the beginning. I enjoyed the mythology. I thought that it was so cool, and I really enjoyed Min. I was absorbed in the story from the beginning until the very end, and I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. It's definitely been my favorite Booktube SFF read so far. I still have 8 or so books left to read for the Booktube SFF Awards, so I have a while to go, but so far this is the first one I really genuinely enjoyed. So I'm happy about that, and I hope the trend continues. I've sort of saved, but I think it's going to be my favorite reads for last, and I hope that was a good decision. So we'll see. But this was all I've been reading over the past couple of weeks. How have you been doing over the past last weeks? I have definitely had some issues. It's getting better, and I think the thing that I have been missing most over the past couple of weeks has definitely been not unable to visit and see my nephew. My nephew is turning 2 in May, and I'm currently thinking, what if we can't even celebrate his birthday? I hope that everything will be over by then, but who knows at this point. My mom's birthday is today, and it's so strange, and my sister's birthday is on Thursday, so yeah, it's difficult. The thing is, I don't think it's a problem for us adults to gather and celebrate the birthdays, because we can keep a distance. We can do so that we sit with a chair in between us, all of us, without any problems and without being too close to each other. I don't think that's going to be the problem. The problem is that my nephew don't understand the same things, and so he wouldn't be able to keep the distance, and which is fair. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. Another thing that I miss a lot is all of the live sports I usually watch. I mean, it is so strange that no sports is happening anywhere, and for good reasons, obviously. I don't think you could justify doing it, but I miss it a lot. I mean, I spend a lot of time watching sports every day, so those are the 2 things that I definitely miss the most. But let me know in the comments down below if there's anything that you miss like a lot, that you have been used to do a lot recently. Also, let me know in the comments down below if you've been reading a lot more recently and what you've been reading. Have you been able to distract yourself with the reading? I think it's going better for me for sure, and I hope that it will continue like that. So I'm happy about that. Yeah, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very, very soon. Goodbye!